Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Thank you very much for a warm welcome. I'm really very happy to be here. Sorry for my bad English if I say something wrong during my sharing of experts with you. But it's really a great pleasure to be here with you. As Harry said, we have a very strong affinity because it was the first time in my life I did simultaneous translation when he went to Brazil. I was a seminarist, and it was really a very good experience. But I'd like to thank to all of you, to our ancestors, to Harry Larry, Harry Marco Negrão, all the ministers, missionaries, all of you, for the permission of being here today with you in the U.S. in this Northeast Conference. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but I was born in the Northeast of Brazil. Just like Los Angeles. And it's a great opportunity to be here today. We, in Africa, we are just giving continuity to what the Messianic Summit started in Japan with the pioneers in those very hard years where he started the divine expansion in Japan and the construction of the sacred grounds. And I'd like to take this opportunity to express my deepest gratitude towards all the pioneers of the United States as well, because the light started in Japan and it came to the United States. And through the efforts of the Messianic Summit, through the first pioneers and all the parents, ministers have given service in this country, the light spread to Brazil, to the rest of the world, and here we are in about 100 countries in the whole world. So my deepest gratitude to all these pioneers of this wonderful country. Thank you very much. It means that we are all connected. We are all instruments of the Messianic Summit, and together I'm sure that we'll be able to achieve his goal. That's this construction of paradise on earth. In Africa, during the time I gave service with my master, Reverend Francisco, he always told me, well, many times, several times he told me, he always said to me, I don't have any illusion that I do anything here in Africa. I just do my best to be representative of Harry Watanabe, to be his representative here, just like he is the representative of Kyosho-sama. So centered on the throne of Kyosho, that we have developed our activities in Africa to the guidance of Kyosho-sama and Harry Watanabe. It was always the feeling of our president, Reverend Francisco, and that's what we are trying to do. Even now, try to do our best to keep this. And since the beginning of our expansion in the African continent, Harry Watanabe always asked us to together with Jory, develop the nature farming as well. It was very hard at the beginning because of the conditions we had to face. In those days, we were still at war in Angola, but thank to God in the Messianic Summit, during the days of the first visit of Harry Watanabe in Angola in 2000, just a little before Harry Larry went there for the first time, during the days Harry Watanabe was in Angola for the first time, Angola's government gave us a piece of land, our Bom Jesus farm. And from that piece of land, we started our activities of nature farming in Africa. Harry Larry, when he went there, we had just received the piece of land. There was nothing there. But from that piece of land, we started our activities, and I'd like to show some of our activities for you. So I'll keep our... This is our headquarters in Angola. African headquarters in Angola. during an ancestor service there, the 2nd of November. It was inaugurated in 2006 by Heaven Watanabe. This was his second visit to Africa. And this is the farm of Bom Jesus, where we started our activities of farming. Now we are seeing a Joy Center where we are doing a distribution of flowers, of light, is the circle of light, as you say here, yeah? But together with Joy, we always do our best to practice the distribution of flowers and the nature farming. Nature farming, making the vegetable plots, as you see during our talk, and also distributing the products to our neighbors, to people that we know, because we believe that with these 3 pillars of salvation together, that we can expand the paradise that's already inside each one of us. This was the beginning of our headquarters, when we did not have anything yet, and we started little by little with the members. And we need to remember that everything really starts with joy. With the practice of joy, miracles started happening, people started awakening, changing their lives, giving service, and that's how the expansion started in Angola and everywhere in the world. Here we are seeing again the Bom Jesus farm. This was our first prototype. And from this small farm, starting there, we were able to receive a bigger one because we received the visit of mayor. He's not a member, his family, they are members of our church. But when he saw what we were doing in Bom Jesus farm, he said, no, you need a bigger place. So he did his best and he gave us a place that is 18 times bigger than Bom Jesus farm. Where we are constructing now our first nature farming school in Africa, and where we will build our sacred grounds of Africa. This is the Bom Jesus farm, and now this is the Cacoaco farm, where will be the sacred grounds. It was in 2006, there was nothing yet there when Harold Watanabe visited for the first time. It has almost 200 hectares, 173. And there we are already practicing the nature farming. We have a Kensho Center, how to say here? A training center there in Cacoaco, and at the same place we have the nature farming school. We will receive our Heaven Watanabe now in November, this year, November, to inaugurate the first phase of our nature farming school and to make the teaching site, the ceremony of beginning of the construction, groundbreaking service for the second phase of the school. That will be our university. Yeah? We started to be the second phase of the school. This is another farm that we have received, also in Angola, where we are making a prototype of agroforestry as well. It's very different when we have many problems in Africa, especially poverty. And you cannot talk about preserving the environment if you don't give alternatives, choice to people to survive. Because a lot of people, they need the woods, the forests to survive, to cut the trees, to make charcoal. And the way that we see we can show a way for them to survive, to preserve the environment, is through the agroforest model that Heaven Watanabe introduced to us. Because people keep the trees, keep the crops, preserve the environment, they have food to eat, to sell, and to improve their lives. So we are doing our best to expand this agroforestry model in Africa. And so we also received, this is the training center of Carpato, the Future Sacred Grounds. As I showed. Okay. After we started, yeah? Okay, so over. Okay, it was just so that you could see some of the activities in relation to the nature farming in Africa. And the nature farming has really opened a great path to expansion as well, as you see during the talking. But though we have received a lot of miracles, a lot of blessings, and we are able to see a lot of change in people's lives, when we received this year the guidance from our spiritual leader, Kyosho-sama, he did the ritual service February 4th in Japan. I'd like to share just a part of this guidance with you. When Kyosho-sama said, recently, I wonder what it is to know God. Most of us have come to know God through His miracles. Illness cured, poverty disappeared, or conflicts resolved. Even though experiencing a miracle is a good way to come to know God for the first time, there is a danger in assuming that performing miracles is the only thing God does. We may start to mistakenly think, if there is no miracle, God's not working. Or we may feel overly proud of the miracles we have performed. For example, in our practice of joy, and ask God for more and more miracles. However, once you have come to know God, your knowledge of God has to progress to the next level and go beyond the point of just recognizing Him as a miracle performer. This next level is to know that God is the one who is within you, encouraging and guiding you every moment to become His child. You may not hear His voice clearly. You may not feel His presence distinctly. But when you search or look at your heart carefully, you should know that God is always there for you. And if you can sense, however subtle, the presence of God within you, it's because God, at that very moment, is calling you and sending you a signal to come back to His heaven. So, respond to His call and return to His heaven, not by yourself, but with the holy humanity, your ancestors, and all creation in the name of Meshu-san. To trustfully know God is to realize that God is the one who is within you and always welcoming you to heaven. You should know that coming to this realization is in itself a miracle performed by God. It may not be the kind of miracles you have known, but it's a miracle that, if you always seek for it, will eventually lead you to become God's child, a Messiah. So, as we are now doing our best in order to keep the construction of our sacred grounds, to expand to the other countries of our African continent, we have made a reflection about our relationship with the Supreme God with the Messiah Meshusama, and this conscience that God is inside of us, God is inside of everybody, and our mission is to expand the peace of God that each one has inside. Starting for explaining that is inside me. So the belief that I have a divine particle, I already have a seed of paradise inside me, and I need to expand it. And the same with other people. It what has guided us in our everyday service. We have realized it as well with our members, non-members, and everybody, that it's not only in our Joy Center headquarters that we need to practice we need to practice the basic points of faith. But everywhere we go, we can be used by the Supreme God as His instrument. Everywhere we go, we can be used by Him to expand the paradise that is within each person. So, our mission, as we fulfill it, naturally, everything in our life also improves. It's a natural way. And I was very happy to listen to the testimony of faith of Rosangela, because sometimes we say, no, I have my life, I have my job, I don't have time, but everywhere we can be used by Neshu Sama to help people. Everywhere we go, we can be used as His instruments. And the main point of our expansion work in Africa is the practice of joy. It's really something incredible that a lot of things happen to us, not to give joy to other people. It started in our homes. Sometimes we see, even in Africa, some members, missionaries who face conflicts at home, a lot of situations that don't improve, don't change. Many people say, no, I'm giving service, I'm doing my best, but this point never changes. But when we talk deeper, the person does not practice joy at home. Give joy to the wife, receive joy from the husband, to the kids. What changes everything is this practice of the joy. It's simple. We don't need to explain. Me, myself, personally, I don't explain joy before channeling. First I channel. I used to say, and I always say to our South African members, don't explain about the joy. Let the light speak for you. Let the light speak for you. Just raise your hand and give joy to the person. And during our everyday life, everything that happens with us has a purpose in our spiritual development. Everyone who arrives in front of us, everyone with whom we work, with whom we live, with whom we study, we have some kind of affinity. And we need to be, to pay attention to see what Meshama wants from us. How can I be used as His instrument to expand this paradise that is within me, that is within people who are around me. And every day we have many choices, many opportunities to be pioneers in the salvation of other people. For example, when we see someone sad, someone with a problem, speaking about this practice of joy, some years ago I was with my mom in our hometown in Salvador, Brazil, and while I went to the shopping center with my mother and my wife. And ladies love shopping everywhere. They went, I want to see this, and no, I'm tired. Let me sit here. I'll wait for you. You go and you come back and you pick me. Okay, so I was sitting, reading, waiting for them. An old lady came to me and he told me, oh my son, please help me. She showed me the drug prescription from her doctor, I said, my son, he has mental problems. He has psychic problems, and he needs to take this medicine. But I don't have money enough to buy it. Can you help me to complete necessary amount to get this. And I told her, well, I don't have money. My wife and my mom had took everything. I don't have money, but I can help you. Oh, please sit here. Have you ever heard about jewelry? And she said, no. So just put your hands together with me. Let me give you jewelry. Think about your son, and let's ask God so that his life may reach you and your son. And start giving her jewelry there. And she started crying and telling her problem, what she was facing. It had been some years that she was facing that problem at home. It was a big suffering for her. And when my mom arrived with my wife, I introduced her to them. And it was another miracle, because the next day in the morning, I was scheduled to travel back to Africa with my wife. And the same day, in the afternoon, my mother is a Sangetsu instructor. She had a Sangetsu class in a jewelry center in the neighborhood of the lady, just 3 streets away from her home. He said, no, I've never seen this church. My mom said, no, it's close to your home if you live in this street, on this street. And so they made a commitment. The next day, she went to the jewelry center with her son. My mother received them, gave them jewelry, introduced it to the minister, and they started attending our church, receiving jewelry every day. The next time he visited his doctor, the young gentleman, the doctor diminished the amount of the medicine he had to take. Well, we are improving. The other time, diminished a little more. And the other time, he said, no, you are healed. You don't need it anymore. And he got completely healed. He kept attending the church. He became a full member. And after 9 years, he's still doing his best. I still haven't met him. Only my mom said, oh, your friend sent you his best regard for you and for our African brothers. But he's still there, giving service in our hometown. He's been useful. And every day, there is a lot of opportunities for us just to ask someone to use us as his instruments and share this light of joy with other people. We don't need to try to explain. I say to people, no, since everybody has a divine particle, God is already inside everybody. The light of God speaks better with the particle of God than me. So let the light of God explain. Let's just give joy. It's what opens, what changes. So it's very important, because the more we have people who are giving joy every day in all the countries of the world, it will strengthen the construction of paradise. The same way as having Larry read Kirsaman's words about the sowing, what we are doing every day, but together with the sowing, it's correct, sowing, aligning with Kirsaman, having the teachings of Kirsaman, we need these basic practice of faith, that's the joy. It's what I see. A lot of things change in people's lives. Of course, the problem was resolved, the person overcame the obstacle. But the person cannot, oh, I just want more change in my life. I need to go to the next stage and acknowledge that God is within me and He has a purpose for me in His life, in His plan. Everybody is a unique existence to God. Everybody has a role to play in God's plan that's only of that person. If that person doesn't play that role correctly, doesn't do the best, his or her best to play it may delay God's plan. So each one of us has this role to play. It starts with this commitment of being used by the Messiah everywhere we go. Because just like I said about this lady, people are suffering all over the world for different reasons. And people even don't know why they are suffering. But we know about joy. We know about this transition, this construction of paradise. We need really to raise our hands and send the light to the other people and teach to people that if you are suffering, we need to sow the seeds of happiness. If I don't have health, I have to sow the seeds of happiness. I need to see do I need to practice to acquire health. If I have financial problems, what do I need to practice to change that? We need to sow the seeds of happiness. We had a very interesting testimony of faith that happened last month in in Pretoria, South Africa. It's a non-member who is from DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, and he is in South Africa as a refugee. Yeah? Because his country is still at war. He arrived in South Africa 2 years ago. And since he arrived, he has been homeless. Though he went to the United Nations, he could not get a place to live. During 2 years, he was living on the streets. So a friend of his guided him to our church. He received a jewelry, but I said, no, I don't want it. And he ran away for 2 times. And once he was drinking with some friends, he started feeling very bad. He thought he was dying because of the way his body was. He went to the hospital. The doctor said, no, you have stress. It's okay. You don't have, I don't know what else you have. And he remembered of the jury again and said, oh, but I refused to go. I went and did not come twice. He was a little bit ashamed, but he came back to the jury center, talked with the center head, explained what he was feeling, and he started attending again. He went every day. He received the flow of light, and he said, no, but I don't have a home. I said, okay, put beside you where you sleep every night. Put this, do this. The next day, after he received the took the flower, he started feeling better. It was his first blessing. All the problem he was feeling disappeared. And he could get some piece jobs. Yeah, you see? Small jobs. So he could eat every day. Little by little, he started making his donation of gratitude. And he attended a service. And in this service, I spoke about this practice of sow the seeds of happiness, doing good deeds for the happiness of other people. We need to do it every day. When he heard that, he reflected, oh my God, I go to work, I have a lot of time, but I'm not doing anything to the happiness of other people. I already received blessings. During 1 week, I'm receiving these blessings, but I'm not doing anything to help other people as well. I only want to be helped. And as the minister said, we need to do something good to other people. And he started trying. Next day, he arrived very early at the center. He did his service, cleaning the center, guiding people in front of the church, to receive jewelry. He said, no, I'm okay, I'm fine, please receive jewelry. And guided many people, started doing it every day. After 1 week, he was called. He was passing by the United Nations, and someone recognized him and said, no, we want to talk with you. After 1 week, he received a place to live, a house where he's living now, and he went to the jury center. He made his donation of gratitude with what he had, thanked for the blessing, and the minister said to him, keep doing what you are doing. He kept doing that, and after some days, he received a scholarship so that he can study every day, has money to take the transportation, the public transportation to eat, and he's studying in the city of Johannesburg. He goes and comes back every day. He's keeping doing his best, and he's preparing now to receive the Oricari after this change that was in his life. So there is a lot of opportunities for us to show it to people, and I know many of you are very busy, but in our home and in our workplace, we also can use it by God and the Messiah's Son. We have an experience of a missionary He's been a member for quite some time. He was a very dedicated member, but though he made a lot of dedication, his situation, his job did not improve. He was a public worker, and he wanted to reach higher position, but there was a lot of problems, of obstacles, and he came to talk to me. I said, why doesn't it improve? And I heard everything. I checked that he was doing the basic practice, and I told him, I feel you have a big mission with Mission Summit, but you have never gone to the sacred grounds of Japan. It's important that you take part in this pilgrimage group to the sacred grounds, not to ask for anything, because you have already received blessings, your life, you already know Mission Summit as the Messiah. But I want you to go to the sacred grounds with this group to express gratitude towards everything you have ever received, and with the summit of receiving a new mission from the Messiah Mission Summit. And so he did his best. He went there. In those days, he went with me in 2002. We spent 15 days there or more, giving service there. And when he came back, after some months, he received a promotion to a post, to a rank that he had wished for almost 20 years. He became a national leader, national youth leader in our country. When he came to me to report the blessing, I said to him, it's very important that you don't forget that Mission Summit has put you in this position. Mission Summit has entrusted you with this mission to serve your country, to serve Africa, to serve the world. So you, as a follower of the Messiah Mission Summit, you need to strengthen the basic practice of faith. I know you are busier now than before, but everywhere you go, give joy. Never forget to help people who come to you, talk about a problem. You can help them materially to find a job, but first give them joy. Keep doing your 10% donation and keep guiding people. Wherever you go, distribute the flowers. And he kept doing that. Sometimes when I visited his office in the government building, I always find there a very beautiful cabana and a tray with a lot of small flower arrangements that he gives to people who come to talk to him. He distributes. After he kept doing that, he could do a wonderful job in the whole country during these years. And almost 3 years ago, he became the governor of one of our states in Angola. Let's show him. It's the province of Rigi in the north of Angola. His name is Pomolo, he's here with me. And as governor, he could donate one of our farms in Rigi. His office gives joy to his son. He gives and receives joy every day. And he's really doing a very beautiful work in the province, because he has this conscience. He was that Mission Summit is doing everything through him. He's a very humble person. I always learn a lot with his attitude towards people, towards everything, especially with his humbleness and his spirit of serving people. His mother was a member as well. She died, and he kept giving his service and everything. In his official home as a governor, I think you could show here, there is a very beautiful vegetable garden as well. A lot of what he eats comes from his own vegetable garden. This is the farm of one of the farms, the big farms.
Começou agora isso, né?
In the whole province, everything is improving. And he has this goal that we can also expand more and more the natural agriculture. He's very committed with Miss Sama and with the country, with everybody. What I think that is also very important in his case is, though he has a very busy schedule, he's always committed with the basic practice of faith, during donation, reading of the teachings, pilgrimage to the sacred grounds. Quite often he can't go with the pilgrimage group, but he, at least once a year, he does his best pilgrimage to Brazil, to Japan. And he has this concept that the job is also given by the Supreme God and the Messiah himself. We have a mission in our workplace, we have a mission in our homes, and everywhere we go, every time someone arrives to us, God wants us to serve that person, God wants us to connect that person with Him, with the Messiah Sama, and to help the person to expand the paradise that lies within him, within her. As I said before, I really enjoyed the testament of Rosangela, because we face this in many countries, with many members in Africa as well. People who have this schedule, but how can I be useful to other people? How can I introduce joy, introduce the flower arrangements, introduce the nature farming, the vegetable garden, and we have encouraged our members and non-members as well to, for example, where you work, start making the flower arrangement there with the goal of making people happy. And people who started doing this, they start to create an environment to guide people. One of our missionaries, he was a high-rank army officer. He was in the army of Angola. He was a really very strong officer. And he had also very busy schedule with his activities. But he started making the distribution of flowers in the army headquarters. When he started taking the flower to headquarters, the other officer said, "Oh, you are a very smart guy. You want to conquer all these ladies here, the secretaries. That's why I'm bringing these beautiful flowers to the headquarters." He said, "No, I'm not, no. You are very smart. They are really very beautiful. Even I would fall in love with you with a flower arrangement like that." He said, no, that's not my goal. I want to spread my church." "Oh, which church gives beautiful flowers like that, like those?" Oh, so he heard all those comments, but he kept distributing the flowers. People enjoyed it because they felt the environment was different with the flower arrangements. They felt that he started giving joy to some people, and he got his reform in the army. After some time, after he got the reform, he became a center head and started giving service full time. During 2 months, he did not go back there. While he was walking one day, a big car stopped, and one of the generals got out of the car. "Hey, oh, you sir, how are you? What happened? You did not bring the flowers anymore to us." And he, "Oh my God, I stopped bringing the flowers." So he came back to the headquarters with a lot of flowers, kept distributing, and people started telling him the chance they started facing with the presence of the flowers, and he could introduce joy to a lot of people. Many of these people who started receiving joy, reading the teachings, keeping the flowers, distributing to people, attending the church, many of them were promoted and became generals. And another became also high-ranking officers. A lot of them became very committed members. And nowadays, inside the headquarters, there is a nucleus of jury, where a jury group, where the officers generally give jury, since they are busy, they do it inside the headquarters. And everything he started only distributing the flowers. So it's a great way to introduce joy to people, to create a spiritual environment. Because when we speak about the flower, people like beauty. Here, I like to see art, okay, it's very good. I like to go to museums to see beautiful works of art. But we as jury members, it's not only beauty, simply beauty, but we have the feeling that that beauty is to awake the deeper beauty that lies within each person. When we make the flower arrangement and we ask the Messiah someone to make that through us, the light of the Messiah emanates from that flower arrangement. That's what creates a difference. There are a lot of different styles of Ikebana, but our Sangetsu style is unique because it's the Messiah's style. It's centered on the Messiah. The Messiah, we do it with this conscience that when the person looks at it, it will receive the light of the Messiah himself. It will awaken the paradise that lies within that person. That's what makes this big difference. And the same with the natural, the natural agriculture. We have explained to our members, to society in Africa, that we are facing now a great danger of extinction of the human race, especially through what we are eating, through the way we are producing the crops. We are really facing a very dangerous moment in the history of humankind. And we, as jury members, we have this responsibility to spread the practice of natural agriculture to the world. Some people say, of course, thank to God for the Messiah Summer. A lot of people are advocating the organic method and another alternative methods of agriculture. But when we speak about nature farming, we as jury members, we know that nature farming teaches us to acknowledge the existence of God. It's different the sowing with which we treat the soil. We don't prepare the vegetable garden just to get food because it's healthier. Of course it's healthier, but we know that from the soil comes life. We treat the soil with this sowing of gratitude. And since the beginning of our current society, we have not treated the soil with gratitude. In most of the places of the world, soil has been treated, especially through slavery, with a sowing of resentment, of hate, a lot of negative feelings. And when we start asking the Messiah Summer to use us to prepare the vegetable garden, to produce the crops, it's different, the sowing with which we are living with the soil. And we are now worried as well to teach it to our children, to our youth members, to the youth of society as a whole. We started with the vegetable gardens in our homes. Yes, it does not matter where you live. You can have, if I have a big backyard, a big yard at my home, I can have a big vegetable garden. But we have people who live in small places and they have some vase. The important is that they are practicing, they are putting the feeling in preparing the soil with this feeling of gratitude. They are eating some at least one health product every day, and they are together with us in this expansion of nature farming. So it's very important. I'd like to show what we're doing in the schools, in society as a whole. You can see here in Mozambique that in this school, it's a public school. This is the director of the school. She's not a member of our church. She saw the work we did in another school with nature farming, and she was promoted to become the main director of this new school. And she said, no, you need to help me as well. She invited us, and we started the nature farming vegetable garden together with the start of the school. And you can see that the soil of this school is basically sand. And in the sand, when we started this, we could produce very beautiful products, even strawberries. Everybody got amazed when they saw that from the sand, you can produce a strawberry. That's something that we need a lot of pesticides to produce, yeah? You can see here the students preparing. The director with our minister, who is in charge of the nature farming in Mozambique.
Exactly. I'm here. That's right.
She was very worried at the beginning if we could produce anything in that soil. And when she saw the strawberries and everything else, she got amazed. She's one, she hasn't gone to the church yet, but she's doing a very good work at expanding nature farming. And I can assure you that the strawberries are very sweet. Eh? It's interesting that this result of the strawberry, the production of strawberry, she herself said, I could never wonder that. It's a miracle, she said. And it helped a lot of people to start making the vegetable gardens as well. Our goal is through each school, we prepare the teachers, the students, so that they can make the vegetable gardens at their homes. We are spreading to the homes of the schools, and each school is being prepared to become a prototype to expand the vegetable garden to the neighborhood of the school as well. Not only in schools, but we are also having the vegetable gardens in headquarters of the army, in churches, Christian churches, Protestant church, Catholic church as well. We are making partnership with all these people. Hospitals are also having vegetable garden, producing and seeing the change in the health of the patients. They are seeing, people are also seeing the change in the health of the patients. We started with giving Jory regularly at the psychiatric hospital in Rwanda. We went there once a week to give Jory to the patients, to help them with the cleaning and distributing flowers. And they had a very good piece of land in the hospital. So we started making also a vegetable garden inside the hospital. And the patients started to receive Jory, to have the flowers, and also had even some gentle classes inside there. The doctors, the nurses, and the patients. They started eating from the vegetable garden, and the director of the hospital and the doctors, they saw a big difference. A lot of the patients were released from the hospital. They got better. Some of them became full members or some of their relatives. And now we have a jury group inside the psychiatric hospital as well, where we are developing the jury activities inside with these people. So when we speak about this practice of the nature farming, I do believe that we starting in each place. For example, if we make a model in our home, we can attract people. We can awake people to this practice as well. We had a very interesting experience in the country of Namibia. It's a country that's basically a desert. It's really very hot. They have very dry conditions of climate. But when one of our ministers went there, for the first time they had a minister, no, for the second time a minister visited the country, I asked her to make the vegetable gardens in the country, in the homes of the new members, the non-members, the neighbors. And as she started it, she realized that in the whole city, there was no garden at all, because of, as I said, it's a desert. And the member said, "But minister, we have only sand here." And she said, "No, we can produce even here," because she gave service in Mozambique for a long time. She said, "I've seen even strawberries get out of the sand in Mozambique. Let's start here with our vegetable garden." And so she started. They kept taking good care of the vegetable garden, and they could develop a very beautiful production of vegetables there. One of the neighbors of this home, she saw the vegetable garden, and she said, "Oh my God, my neighbor is producing something wonderful. How can she do it? If she's doing that, I also can do." But I don't know if she was proud or what. She did not ask anything to our member. She started doing it by herself in her yard. But she put manure and she put a lot of pesticides. And she did not have any success at all. After she failed, she got courage to go to our member's home and said, "Oh, I tried to do what you did, but I could not get such a good result. What did you do?" And the member asked her, how did you prepare? He said, "No, I put manure, I put pesticides." I said, "No, it's completely wrong. You need to do the native farming." "What is it?" So she started explaining. She went to her place, cleaned everything with her, prepared a vegetable garden, and the neighbor said, "Oh, but how did you learn it?" She started explaining about Meishu Sama and gave jewelry to her for the first time. So the neighbor started receiving jewelry regularly, also could develop a very beautiful vegetable garden, and now she's preparing also to receive the oikari. So she was guided by the vegetable garden. Yeah? Well, that's what I'd like to share with you. I've spoken too much, I think. But I'd like again to thank you very much. I was telling this morning to Helen Marco that yesterday I was reading what I intended to share with you today. I realized that next year it will mark the 6th anniversary of the expansion in the United States. And when we say the expansion here, it will be the sixth year of the world expansion work. I think that me myself, think that we need to prepare ourselves to next year. It will be a very important moment, not only to the United States, but I think to the whole world, because it will be 60 years since the light of the Messiah started to spread throughout the whole world. And I think that the best way to prepare ourselves is to reaffirm our commitment with the Messiah Summer of spreading his 3 pillars of salvation, starting with the spreads of joy. I like a sentence that Mahatma Gandhi said. I don't know if it is really means, but when he says, "Be the chant you want to the world." I believe that we can be this chant as representatives of the Messiah Sama, of our ancestors. We can be this chant the same way that Rosângela started her go to the 1,000 people. When we think 1,000, well, we need to remember that every journey started with the first step. She started her first steps, the kafofo, giving joy with the flowers. Each one of us can start with our first step, with the spreads of joy. I do believe from the very bottom of my heart that what changes everything is the light of God. is the light of the Messiah. I'm really very happy to have the permission, along with my ancestors, to be the divine light work of the Messiah Sama, to be able to receive and channel this light. My family met Sama 35 years ago, and our life changed a lot since then. And I think that is very important for each one of us to reaffirm this commitment with the Messiah and to strengthen our practice of these three pillars of salvation, because we are together. As you do it here, you can be sure that each journey you channel, each vegetable garden that you start, each flower you distribute, you are helping in the expansion work in Africa, in Brazil, in Japan, in Asia, in Oceania, everywhere, because we are all connected with the Messiah Sama. As each one of us really strengthens this basic practice of faith, the Messiah Sama can manifest his infinite power to save the world, to change this world, to create this better world that's already inside each one of us. Thank you very much. Have a good conference. Thank you very much.